you.
It sucks that they're girls, right? Because I know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm gonna whoop that boy and send a message to the sister, like, hey, I'm still the oldest. This is still mine. You can't have it. Let it forget. Don't forget that ever.
Never forget.
Never forget it. Oh, the fights, the little petty squabbles you've missed because you were only child. Like that's just sibling. Everything in that story is just siblings being siblings. It's just it escalates from,
I can't even imagine.
like, oh, you took my brush without asking, or oh, y'all are ganging up on me to keep me from watching what I want to watch on TV, or what movie I want to see, or whatever. Y'all just being a pain in the ass. Oh, now we're grown and this stuff actually effing matters. What was the song today?
Hawaiian roller coaster ride.
Oh,
There's no place I'd rather be.
right out at sea.
And I know it's the ocean blue. I'd sit on the ocean beyond the horizon.
I feel like I shouldn't be doing that.
You wanna know what so prepping for Grizzlies-Spurs, I cannot get out of my head. Wembanyama, Victor Wembanyama. Wembanyama, Victor Wembanyama. Which feels like a better way than completely butchering the African lyrics to that song.
Yeah.
But then it also still feels wrong because no one ever went about learning what they were actually saying in the beginning of the Circle of Life.
No.
It moves us all, but we can't even bother to learn the lyrics.
But in our defense, we thought they were just making noises.
I thought they were just saying Victor Wembanyama. They were preparing us for the future king of basketball.
Yeah, like I thought they were scatting. No, stupid.
Bamboo.
Yeah, that's what we thought.
I love a little scat.
Yeah. I watched.
Do you remember? You watched Pen 15, didn't you?
No.
You should watch that
Should I?
with my ass cream. There's a scatting scene that just is like, it's so funny.
Okay. I did watch the Jerry Springer documentary.
Oh.
Did you know about the Springer Triangle?
No.
It stretched from Ohio to Tennessee to Georgia, and that's where everybody on the show came from.
Excellent. Can't wait to learn more at some point in time. What's up, everybody? It is Wednesday, January 15th. It is going to be a good day. Jessica Benson with you from the Grind City Media Studios in Memphis, Tennessee. CJ Hurt behind the glass. Coming up on today's show, it is a Grizzlies game day. They play tonight in San Antonio against the Spurs. Zach Edey versus Victor Wembanyama. It's gonna be big. We'll get into tonight's matchup. Team was off last night. There was no football on. There was a ton of college basketball on. I didn't watch that. I watched a school board meeting. I will give you the latest on the Memphis school board and the stance of the current superintendent. We'll do some oops, we missed it again. NFL divisional weekend is set as the coaching world turns. Mike McCarthy's exit in Dallas. Conversations have been had with Deion Sanders. Mike Vrabel's back in New England, and Mike Tomlin, he's planning to stay right where he is for now in Pittsburgh. DeAngelo Williams will join us about 40 minutes in. Never know what we'll get into with him. And then we'll do some story time and WTF. If you are joining us live, be sure to vote on the story options of the day. They are parents mad about sister's boyfriend, cheating sis and kid homeless. Not my daughter's concern who I date. Sister is robbing me of inheritance. Also go ahead, smash that like button. We'll do some funny stories from the internet of the week as well. It is Wednesday, and you know what we say.
Which boyfriend?
Don't be tardy for the party.
Oh, did you listen to it?
Don't be tardy for the party.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Sharon, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take three! Take three!
Bane for three. Bingo! This man Bane
Heating it up.
blocked by Jaron.
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star Game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Durant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
On January 20th, join the Memphis Grizzlies as we honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This year, we honor those who have carried out his vision with the 20th Annual National Civil Rights Museum Sports Legacy Award. The 23rd Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves is brought to you by Ford and your Mid-South Ford dealers.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Grizzlies fans, dunks, dimes, and no-looks are great on TV, but nothing compares to catching them IRL. And that starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight in person. From seeing your favorite Grizzlies stars up close to hearing the squeak of the sneakers on the hardwood. Put that jersey collection to use and get tickets at Ticketmaster. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside, Memphis.
Dusty May was at Florida Atlantic last year. Tonight you'll watch him coach at Michigan. So why do I care if a football player decides to leave one place where he's making whatever money to go somewhere where he's making even more? It's what most coaches do every year. So I cannot stand it, and I mean can't stand it when the coaches sit up there and act like these young people are doing something wrong.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
For the sunshine, gotta own the day like it's all mine. Just got paid in his own time. Been working hard, I've been on the grind. I deserve this feeling, having my way. I've been on this healing. This is my day. The sun's out, let's have a little fun now. I wanna let it all out. That's what it's all about. Cause I deserve this feeling, having my way. I deserve this healing. This is my day.
Grind City Media presents The Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt. Live from the Grind City Media studios on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday to you. A Grizzlies game day as the Grizzlies will play their first of 2 games this week against the San Antonio Spurs. The second one will be on national television. We will get into that, but the Grizzlies were off last night. There was no football on my television for what felt like the first time in forever, and I decided that I was going to take a little break from sports for the night because I knew in my soul that CJ would watch all of the incredible college basketball action that was on television last night with some huge SEC matchups. And then I came in here and you tell me you watched none of them?
Hulu was down. I couldn't get into my Hulu. Like, I tried on every different device and then hopped online and was like, hey, what's up with Hulu? And they were like, oh, yeah, the Hulu's down for whatever reason. I got up this morning and didn't even try to see if Hulu was back working, but I was really disappointed. I wanted to watch some good basketball.
You missed a lot of great games.
They tell me 2 top 5 teams got upset on the road.
One of them being Florida by Missouri, which is big for Memphis because that Missouri win from earlier in the season has now been upgraded to a quad 1 win for the Memphis Tigers after Missouri beat Florida 83-82. Ole Miss upset Alabama by 10. Auburn just keeps rolling, even though they are without Janai Broome. They beat Mississippi State by 22 points. That Auburn offense, one of the best to watch in college basketball. You wouldn't know because you didn't watch it last night. Thanks to Hulu, Arizona upset Baylor. Kentucky beat Texas A&M. It sounded like a great night of basketball. And to be honest, I may have watched it, if not for another episode of the hottest drama of the season dropping last night. It was the Memphis School Board meeting. I did not expect it. Thank you, Shelby County School Board meeting. Specifics on the journalism this morning. I saw it floating around on social media that they were giving attendees to the meeting handouts, warning against yelling and screaming and profanity. And I was like, oh, I got to sign up for this one more time. For those unaware who have not been following the saga, the majority of the Shelby County School Board here in Memphis wants to fire its superintendent. Her name is Marie Fagans. She has been on the job for all of 9 months. They have accused her of mishandling district finances, have accused her of being dishonest, difficult to work with. They tried to vote her out last month, but there was an overwhelming response from the public to keep her. As it stands, it does appear that a majority of the school board still wants her fired. It is a 5-4 majority, and the reporting last night has been that there hasn't been any movement on any of those votes. But Marie Fagans was given the opportunity to put her rebuttal into the record last night. She showed up wearing all white. Her father flew in for last night's meeting. He was there. She is a tremendous orator and a tremendous writer. And so I thought her words and her call of accusations from the board being all false, and how she said she was the person for this moment for the Shelby County School District. One of her best bars of the night was, "Comfort is never the companion of progress." It's like, ooh. And here's the thing. She started the meeting, she gave her rebuttal, and then they just moved on. And they had 40 matters of business to get to in the Shelby County School Board meeting, CJ, and I was like, I don't know if I'm built for 40 matters of business. So I did tap out from watching it in its entirety, and funny enough, I switched over to Abbott Elementary, where I am catching up, and just started season 3, where Janine leaves for the fellowship with the school board, and they are talking about their past superintendent who misappropriated funds, and they're referencing this website called Chalkbeat that follows teacher-related and school-related news. And sure enough, Chalkbeat Tennessee has been reporting on the situation here with Shelby County schools. So it felt like the perfect crossover. But I was keeping it up on my Twitter timeline to see if anything of interest was going to happen later in the meeting. They ended up having to pause the meeting at one point because so many people were outside
in the
chanting.
cold.
In the cold.
In the cold.
Freezing.
Like it was below freezing last night.
It was cold. They were outside blasting Glorilla's Let Her Cook, which has become the anthem of Marie Fagans.
Yeah, Glow.
Yeah, Glow. They're chanting, we support Fagans. And then they also started blasting another song, which I was unfamiliar with before last night. And thanks to the wonderful reporting over at the Daily Memphian for making sure I found out about this particular song. It is called Who Cat He Kissin'?
Sounds like a banger.
And if you're wondering why on earth someone would be blasting Who Cat He Kissin' at the Shelby County School Board meeting, it's a song by Tawana Murphy, who currently sits on the Shelby County School Board. So prior to being on the Shelby County School Board, she was pursuing a music career, or at least wanted to give the world some bops. It's a killer song. CJ and I would like to get the rights to the song
very
to
much
play, at least the beat. We would be, if you want Who Cat He Kissin' to come back in the year 2025, we would be happy to be the users.
Stewards?
Yeah, the stewards of the song. Like a real songstress moment.
I've never heard anybody sing about Alf that way. Because we know Alf was big into kissing and eating cats. Mm-hmm. And I'm assuming that's what that song is about.
Absolutely.
Correct? About Alf?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Dig
and
into it.
Cat with a K.
Oh, okay.
Just so there's no confusion.
There must be a new species.
But I was just sitting and I was like, oh, just another night at the Shelby County School Board meeting. They did eventually get the meeting back underway. Eventually, one of the board members, Amber Hewitt Garcia, introduced a resolution to retain Fagans, like trying to lay out a path of redemption. That was then met with a heated response from another one of the school board members who went out of her way to say that Fagans has dismantled critical student systems and that her actions have left principals and teachers in the district without the right resources. That all sounds awful. However, that's not the original problems that they put up as the reasons for getting rid of Fagans. And that right there pretty much is the crux of the issue here, because I have no idea. One, I'm not a parent. I mentor in the Shelby County school system, and so I feel somewhat attached to it, and I feel attached to the city, and everybody in this city should feel attached to the Shelby County School District, because the kids are the future of the city. That's how this works. And if you don't have a functioning school district, you're in trouble. But when it comes to this particular situation, I don't know if Marie Fagans is a good superintendent. I don't know if she's good at her job. All I know is that the way that the school board has gone about trying to oust her has turned Fagans into a hero, where they are attaching her to let her cook, and it has turned the school board into the villains who have mismanaged this entire situation. And now the vote is in a week. It's January 21st. Like I said, it seems as if the majority is still 5-4 in order of getting rid of Fagans. The worst case scenario, in my opinion, is that this represents a situation where Tennessee, the state, comes in and says, whoa, 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 Memphis can't handle its business. We're going to come in and take over the school district.
Once again, Memphis can't handle its business, right? Because that's the scuttlebutt around the state as it pertains to the city of Memphis, specifically in Shelby County, because Memphis is the largest city in Shelby County. It's, hey, you can't trust Memphis to do to take care of itself. Somebody else has to come in and do it for Memphis, and that would be terrible.
Not also, just embarrassing, like dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would be terrible also to say, all right, we're gonna let her go. I'm assuming that she's gonna fight it. You're not gonna be able to let her go with any sort of real cause, because all of these things feel dramatized and trumped up for a lady who just got in office a year ago, less than a year
9
ago.
months.
Like, come on, man. So you're gonna have to pay her, and you just got her, correct? Like, it took you a while to find a new superintendent. So then you got to start that search all over. And some of those funds are going to the old superintendent. It feels like way too much of a hassle. Again, as somebody who doesn't have a kid in the school system, but who follows this stuff fringely because you care about the city, you care about the youth in the city, you care about the future, and the children are the future, according to Whitney Houston. So you care about the school board. It just feels like they're tripping over themselves and upset because their people, whomever their people are, family members, directly, indirectly, friends, it feels like they're trying to hook them up with stuff and they can't anymore.
I also am not sure, like, here's how much she is winning the PR battle. I'm not sure that's the crux of the issue. Like, there are people I trust who have told me, like, she's not doing a good job. That's their opinion. But because it has taken off in the direction that it has, it doesn't really matter. It does not matter. What matters is the system that they have used to try and create this ouster that is not a fair and measured and responsible way of going about that.
Yeah, that's another piece of it. And it's like 9 months. What does a good job look like as a school superintendent in 9 months? The school year isn't over. That's the other piece.
The school year is halfway done.
The school year isn't over.
When they first brought this up right before Christmas, you weren't even at the
You weren't
Christmas
even at the
break.
halfway point. Like, come on, man. Like, give the lady some time to do work. Like, you can say that, unless it's egregious, and we know what egregious looks like, and don't need to rattle off all the acts of egregiousness that it could be. But unless it's that, you kind of got to, like, wait this thing out and see. Give it at least, I would guess, 18 months. That's a year and a half, right? Give it a year and a half, 2 years, and then say, okay, 2 years. We've got 2 of these. We're going the wrong direction. What is your plan for righting this ship? And then you have that conversation. But to do it after, it's 9 months right now. And like you said, if they were trying to do it in December, like, come on, man. Like, that's nowhere near enough time for anybody to do a good job.
And if I remember correctly, they're still paying out the previous superintendent
So you're gonna pay
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You're gonna be paying
and
2
her buyout would be
superintendents.
hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And this is a city that could sure as hell use hundreds of thousands of dollars to go to the schools and not to a superintendent that you're paying out because you couldn't work with her or figure out a way to work with her. So we'll see. January 21st is when it all goes down. These meetings are on YouTube. They did turn off the comments this time around.
Why?
That's on learning. That's on education.
Chicken shit behavior.
They figured out.
Boo.
I was trying to watch it because you could get the live comments on like the WMC live stream on Facebook, but their audio was so inferior to the crisp professional audio of the Shelby County School District YouTube page. And when they took the breaks, like they paused, like they put a little screen up and was like, we'll be back. And I was like, okay, you'll be back. But it was weird having this hangover, like actual school business, trying to decide on like reallocating of some funds for some businesses, or not businesses, buildings and resources, different curriculum changes, different charter schools that are trying to get re-upped. And then there was like a congratulations to the Mays football team for winning the state championship. It was just a hodgepodge of everything. But tonight, I'm glad it was last night and not tonight, because tonight we will have Grizzlies-Spurs from San Antonio. And this is the first of 2 games in 3 nights between the Grizzlies and the Spurs. One of those moves that, is this the second year that we've been doing the mini series where a team plays twice in one city to cut down on travel? This is year 2 of that, I believe.
I can't remember.
It feels normal at this point, and I like it.
It's recent. Yeah, that's the best way to go about doing it. You want stars to be able to play. Well, then don't have them traveling cross country. Just let them stay there and play a mini series like that. That's cool. Baseball does a great job of that, right? Like, okay, we got a weekend series. Let's go. We're gonna play 3 games in St. Louis. We're the Cubs. We're gonna play 3 games in St. Louis, and then we're gonna go on to another series. I would like for basketball to do more of that, just to cut down on travel, so that these dudes' bodies can rest, heal, and we get to see more of them.
I do look forward to the first game between the 2 tallest players in the NBA, in Victor Wembanyama and Zach Edey. The last time that Victor Wembanyama and Zach Edey shared a court, CJ, was 2021 at the FIBA U19 World Cup. USA beat France for a gold medal. Canada came in 3rd. This was the All-Star 5 in that tournament. Zach Edey, Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren, Jaden Ivey, and Nikola Jovic. Can you guess the height of Jaden Ivey in this picture, who is flanked by 7'4" Edey, 7'3" Wemby, and 7'2" Chet Holmgren?
And Ivy like 6'5", 6'6"?
He's 6'4".
He's 6'4"? Yeah, okay.
And he looks
tiny,
like a baby amongst giants.
Because he is.
Because he is. Do you know who the actual star of that tournament was?
Of the 2021? Was it not Ivy? Who was it?
You could argue Ivy. Chet Holmgren was MVP. It's Kenneth Lofton Jr. Kenneth Lofton Jr. was the reason that they won.
I don't know why I thought Kenneth Lofton Jr. got drafted like 2019. I have no
it was right
concept of
after
time.
that, because then Kenneth Lofton's first Summer League game with the Grizzlies was against Chet Holmgren in Salt Lake City Summer League.
Yep,
and he dunked on him.
Yeah.
Kenny dunking on Chet, and it was a big story because they'd been on the same team. But now, where is Kenneth Lofton Jr. now?
Shanghai, I do believe. Like,
is he really?
I do believe he's a Shanghai Shark.
I love how you said that.
I'm 85% certain he's a Shanghai Shark. Because I remember thinking it like, oh, he's actually
Wikipedia
in
never
Shanghai.
lies.
Where is
he? Kenneth Wayne Lofton Jr. is an American professional basketball player playing currently for the Shanghai Sharks of the Chinese Basketball Association. Yeah, he was last on the Salt Lake City Stars. He was with the Jazz, and then no longer there, and now with the Shanghai Sharks. But for tonight, it will be exciting. The second of these games is going to be on national TV, and obviously much will be made of
on Friday.
The 2 biggest players at 8:30 on a Friday.
Thank goodness it's
on a Friday. We're thrilled about the Friday date of this being an 8:30 game, so we can stay up, watch it. But for the Grizzlies, coming off of another disappointing game against the Houston Rockets, this is a big 2-game stretch against the Spurs to try to bounce back and give them 2 wins, or at least 1 win to close out this road trip before coming home. You have to at least split these 2 games with the Spurs. Preferably, you would win both.
I think you have to win both.
The Spurs at this point they're 19-19 on the season. Like, as great as Victor Wembanyama has been, this is still a 500 basketball team.
Yeah. They've got good pieces, too. You can see them. Castle, or Vassell. What's the...
Vassell.
Vassell. There we go.
Devin Vassell. But Stephon Castle, their rookie, who will
Castle is good
almost
also.
certainly make the all-rookie honors at the end of the year.
Like, you can see, it's like, oh, and then they've got grown men around to help guide these young players. That's why you grab Harrison Barnes. That's why you grab a Chris Paul, right? Those are 2 players who should be on legitimate contenders.
Right.
And the Spurs grabbed them, not because they think of themselves as legit contenders, but they like, hey, we've got really good young players. They are super young. We can't have just a team full of young players.
And we might have the best player in the league.
We've got to get somebody around to show them how to go about the day-to-day life of being a professional basketball player. And so I think that the Spurs are built really, really well. Not saying they're built well enough to do anything of note this season, but the lessons that they're learning will absolutely impact them going forward and be very, very beneficial. I had this thought when I was watching them play the Bucks. That was the most recent time I watched them. It's like, okay, Castle, Wembanyama, like you keep those three around, you add some other pieces. In a few years, it wouldn't surprise me if they win a championship, and they should absolutely give rings to Harrison Barnes and Chris Paul for their role in mentoring these young players early on in their careers. For the Grizzlies, you got to go out there and take care of business. We had this conversation yesterday. You don't beat good teams, and the Spurs are a fine team. I wouldn't call them good. You also don't beat teams.
But you don't beat teams contending in the West, or playoff contenders in the West. And right now at 9th in the West, that is, by technicality, a playoff contending team.
12-12 in the Western Conference overall, all the Grizzlies. Right. And you look around at the rest of the teams in the West, like the good ones, and I think the Spurs have a better record in the Western Conference than the Grizzlies also, right? So you look at the Thunder, you look at the Rockets, you look at the Mavericks. I think you can throw the Warriors or the Lakers in there, Nuggets, throw them in there. Everybody is well above 500 in that conference. And then you look at the Grizzlies, who are hovering right at 500. So
the Spurs
you need this
16-4 against the West.
16-4?
I mean, sorry, 16-14. That would be absurd.
I was going to how in the hell are they losing games?
16-14. This is also the halfway point of the season for the Grizzlies. This is game number 41 of an 82-game regular season.
What's everybody else? You said
in the West. Timberwolves are 16-11. Lakers 16-10. Mavs 16-15. Clippers are 14-16, so they're below 500. Nuggets 16-10. Rockets 17-8, Thunder 19-5, and then the Grizzlies, of course, at 12-12, and in third in the Western Conference right now. But those teams sneaking up behind. The Nuggets are playing really well right now, just 1 game behind the Grizzlies. Clippers 2.5 games behind. Mavs.
Grizzlies are 2 games behind Rockets, and Rockets will own the tiebreaker.
Yes.
With 3 wins. Okay.
Yes. I wouldn't call the Spurs like one of those big physical teams that the Grizzlies have had trouble with. In fact, I mean, Victor Wembanyama is probably the skinniest big guy that Zach Edey would go up against this year. Obviously, they have the same height comparisons. Who do you put on Edey? Was what I was going to ask you. Jaren.
Just go ahead and do it. Let Zach be. That's the benefit of having Edey, isn't it? So you can put Jaren on one of those types of players on the perimeter, and Edey can be the one around the rim. Also, very, very impressed with Jaren's perimeter defense, not necessarily on switches, on hedges. We talked about that yesterday in the Rockets game, just letting people go right by him. But thinking about that Timberwolves game and the way he defended perimeter playing big like Julius Randle, a real versatile offensive player like Julius Randle, getting that poke away towards the end of the game to help the Grizzlies get the win. I think he can do a good job defending Edey without fouling, and he's big enough, long enough to legitimately contest. Like maybe get a hand in the way for that 7-foot juggernaut.
Like in the bottom of his vision.
Yeah.
You just need like a, what's it called? A flare? I mean, a floater. Have you ever had floaters?
I've heard about them.
Oh, they're the worst.
Yeah.
Like when you feel like there's something in your eye and it's not there. That's what you have to be to Victor Wembanyama. Very rarely can you actually impact his shot. It's just a floater.
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
just
that was annoying, and then you're a little off.
Just a deterrent.
Yeah. A small deterrent. All right, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the latest in the NFL. Could Deion Sanders, could Coach Prime actually be the future head coach of the Dallas Cowboys? Conversations have been had between him and Jerry Jones. Plus, we are not a baseball show, but we are a big Japan show, thanks to Yuki Kawamura and one of the most hyped Japanese prospects in recent memory. The window has opened for him to figure out where he is going to begin his professional baseball journey. We'll get into all that, plus DeAngelo Williams still ahead when we come back.
In the chat, they say put Yuki on him. Yuki's gonna give him business.
Somebody who really has done what they were supposed to do, or maybe wasn't expected to do, is Jalen Wells, the Western Conference Rookie of the Month.
What you're seeing right now is him showing that, hey, no matter where I was going to go in the draft, I was going to be ready.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st. And you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
I did a video and I thought it was pretty funny, and I said, well, I'm gonna post it on TikTok and see what it does. You know, we watched Alabama beat Miami. We had no idea that the video was blowing up the whole time we were beating Miami, or we would have kept doing it. Yeah. So I told Tide roll. The Tide, tell them, Willie. Tide roll, baby. That's what they do.
We always gonna get beat because you cannot mess with the Tide.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
How about them Tigers?
How about the Tigers?
Go.
Beat Tulane in a game that nobody called. Nobody thought was going to happen. They were a 2-touchdown underdog, and they got the win.
Number 25 in the AP right now, number 24 in the coaches poll right now. So this is a Tigers football team that's going to end the regular season ranked in both major polls, possibly ranked in the CFP as well, with 10 wins. That's a damn good season.
The Odds Couple, live at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Oh, yeah,
Lose to the Gundys and to the Ferences and the Sweeneys, right? You get that label, you get that stink on you, because you got to go and recruit everywhere. This is what I was saying to my father. You got to go and recruit everywhere, and you don't want anything to be able to be used against you. And if they say, that's the woke school, you want to go play for the woke coach? Bow. Now you missing out on a recruit.
Notre Dame is never going to be seen as the woke school.
And you say that.
Oh, come on.
You say that.
There is no
you
way
say that.
in HE double hockey sticks.
You say
and
that.
I say HE double hockey sticks because they are a Catholic institution and I will not banish them to hell.
Notre Dame has had way more black coaches than Oklahoma State, Iowa, hell, probably Iowa State, Clemson, right? They're already on the cusp of being woke because they've got the DEI guy there, right? So you can't lean all the way into it because you will lose out on these kids in small towns.
We lost woke. We lost DEI.
What do you mean, we?
Just a collective, as a society. We've lost the plot on these terms.
And it's
because
gone.
No.
And it's gone. And if it's gone, and this is what it is, you can't be up there lauding and patting yourself on the back and talking about how special a feeling it is to be a black coach in college football, where there are only a handful to come through. Only a handful have ever been there. Notre Dame has had 2.
Yeah.
Let's look at just reckless, real reckless right now. Pick a conference. I don't know. Let's pick the Big 12. Let's pick the SEC. How many black coaches have those conferences had? All of the member institutions in the entirety of those schools' existence, right? Very clearly, I'm struggling to think of any. Mm-hmm. You have Mississippi State had 1, right? Joker 2, 3, Mason 4, Franklin.
James Franklin.
They've had 4 that I can think of. Tennessee, I don't think it's had any.
No.
I don't think Georgia's had any. I don't think Auburn's had any.
No.
I don't think Alabama's had any.
No.
I don't think Florida, South
No.
Carolina. I don't think Ole Miss has had any. Right? So you got 4 there that I can think of. Notre Dame has had 2. Sumlin at Texas A&M, which, all right, we'll count it.
But it's the first time a black coach will be in the national championship game, and coming off of the fact that it was guaranteed to be the first time a black coach would make it to the national championship game because it was James Franklin and Marcus Freeman in that game, and one of them had to advance. Just have an answer ready to roll with.
Yeah, but I get the
You understand the
I
apprehension.
get it because
And
you got to go and recruit in these areas against these schools, and once you and we've seen it happen. In this weird ass culture war that we're in right now politically, once you get labeled the woke one, you're gonna lose, dog. You can't go back.
Well, could the Dallas Cowboys have their first ever black head coach? They're saying it could happen, CJ, and it will carry the airwaves until it is either officially the case, not the case, or anything in between, because nothing drives conversation like the Dallas Cowboys and Deion Sanders. And after the Cowboys went ahead and decided to no longer be in a relationship with Mike McCarthy, we'll call it that way. They did not fire Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy walked away. They were in the process of needing to decide on a new contract. He said, I'm out. Let's part ways while it is. It was a weird day-to-day situation. It was strange that they denied Mike McCarthy the opportunity to go interview with the Chicago Bears, or technically denied the Bears the opportunity to interview Mike McCarthy. And yet it was completely unsurprising because McCarthy went into the season without a contract, without a new contract guaranteed. He was essentially coaching for his job. The Cowboys missed the playoffs, had a disappointing year. So it makes sense that he is no longer the head coach in Dallas. It didn't make sense that they missed out on a week of coaching interviews, and I do hate that. I wish we did all coaching business after the season. That's how I feel about college football. That's how I feel about the NFL. That's how I feel about any sport. Insert it here. I hate that we do this because the report that Jerry Jones has had a conversation with Deion Sanders about becoming the new head coach in Dallas came out during a playoff game, which is very Grinch smiling meme of Jerry Jones. But one thing is for sure, the Dallas Cowboys and Deion Sanders are 2 of the biggest brands in sports. And if they were to come together, it would be the biggest story in sports, period. A story that would extend out of just the sports space and into the regular news space as well. All that said, do you think there is any world where Deion Sanders actually takes a job, if he were to be offered it? Because we don't know if he has even been officially offered the job of head coach of the Cowboys. But if he were, could you see him taking that job?
Yeah, I could see him taking it. Just like I could see him leaving Jackson State when he went to Colorado. That's the name of the game. That's the name of the industry, right? Like you want to coach at the highest possible level you can reach and you can achieve. If it's in the NFL, if it's for America's team, absolutely I can see Coach Prime taking that job. Think about what Nick Saban was at LSU. Did he stick around LSU when the NFL came calling? No. Pete Carroll at USC? No.
Pete Carroll was under investigation by the NCAA, so it was a nice parachute, but sure.
You leave for whatever reason you leave. Jim Harbaugh, gone.
Also under investigation by the NCAA,
but still
nice
gone.
parachute.
Steve Spurrier wasn't under investigation when he left Florida to go to Washington.
True.
Right, like that's the stuff that we see in this sport. So if you're a top-notch college coach, you do look to leave. Cliff Kingsbury wasn't under investigation at Texas Tech, and Arizona came and said, hey, Cliff, come coach. He said, yeah, sure, why not? And bow, he's gone. So, yeah, the next step for a quality college football coach at the highest level of college football in the FBS in a power conference is to go and try and see what you got in the pros. So, yeah, I could see a world where Coach Prime leaves Colorado and goes to Dallas, and I don't have to, squint that hard to see it. I don't have to pull out the binoculars to see it. Now, would I do it? I don't know. I've got an affinity for being in college. I like the control. If it was me, I would like the control and the power that I have at Colorado right now in Boulder, where I'm the biggest thing, I'm the hottest thing smoking. You go to Dallas, no matter what happens, you always defer to Jerry Jones and the Jones family. So I don't know. I'd have to think about it if it was offered, but yeah, I can absolutely see it happening. Do you think it'll be a good hire?
I don't know if it would be a good hire. I know Jerry Jones is the P.T. Barnum of the world and is focused on entertainment and splash and how many people are talking about the Cowboys, and that checks that box significantly. I'm with you. The thought of the power balance between Deion Sanders and Jerry Jones, I can't make it work in my head. And they know each other, they have a past relationship, and sometimes egos can arise where you think, well, it'll be different with me because I have relationship XYZ with this person, so I know how to manage it differently. But Jerry Jones is the owner, he is the general manager, he is the decision maker, he is the controller. It is what makes the Cowboys' job one that is not seen as a particularly inviting place, a natural decision for all coaches. You have to be a special kind of dude to go and coach in Dallas under Jerry Jones' structure. And right now, as Coach Prem has it in Colorado, Deion Sanders could go to the University of Colorado's president and say, hey, I want the university to change its name to CU Prime Boulder. And they would think about it because he means that much to the university right now, and he has that much control. And relinquishing that in order to go to a place where it is notoriously difficult to find your power in the Dallas Cowboys organization, that's where I struggle to see it. Unless he could guarantee that Shedeur somehow ends up there and he gets to coach his son in the NFL.
Listen, at a certain point, you got to hop off that. At a certain point, he's got to stand on his 2 feet, and you got to go and do your own thing, man. And I think right around this point in everybody's life and everybody's young adult life, this is about when, like, all right, kid, go stand on your own. You got it. Shedeur is a grown man at this point. Like, let him go out there and see what he got. And I think they know that, and they're prepared for that. Listen, it's a nice bargaining chip, though. It is nice to say, hey, you get my kid in here, we'll make things work. But I can't imagine that it will happen in the NFL with this franchise. Some of the other franchises, potentially, maybe. I think Prime could come in and maybe flex his way into some roster and draft type things with the Titans right now. Right? Like, come in, hey, I'll come, but I need this, and this, and we're taking Shedeur #1 overall, right? I can see that happening. I don't think that'll work in Dallas because, again, to everything you said, the Joneses are in control. Jerry Jones specifically in Dallas. And we've seen big egos come through Dallas. Big egos be successful coming through Dallas, thinking about Jimmy Johnson in that era and them still getting run out of town by Jerry Jones. I forgot also, thank you, chat, for reminding me, Cliff Kingsbury was fired from Texas Tech, and then he got the Cardinals job. What a wild time that was.
The chat is also saying the music is loud. Just letting you know.
Not. It's
letting you know.
I don't care what the chat says.
I do. I listen to you, chat.
I don't care what you say. You're
chat.
all right. In fact.
Oh, wait. Turn it down for a second before we get to DeAngelo Williams.
Okay.
Because I did see this morning, and it does feel, we try to give the people the news, keep people on the latest and the greatest. And I was unfamiliar with the work of Roki Sasaki. Had you heard of Roki Sasaki?
No.
Roki Sasaki is one of the biggest stories in sports today. He is a Japanese rookie sensation who now has the window open to decide where he will go and begin his professional career. He is 23 years old. He is a right-handed pitcher who is considered the most exciting pitching prospect to ever come out of Japan. He has been called a flamethrower. He has been on MLB teams' radar since he was in high school. He really started getting attention after he threw a 19-strikeout perfect game back in 2022. Some called it the most impressive pitching performance of all time. And now he has until January 23rd to decide where he is going to begin his career here in America. So Roki Sasaki, we have a large Japanese following thanks to the wonderful Yuki Kawamura. We are always following the latest and greatest in Japanese athletes coming over to the United States and becoming superstars. And it sounds like Roki Sasaki really is the next one to do it.
Could he come over with the Cardinals and do some time with the Redbirds?
We'd love. Could you imagine?
I can. I don't need
Could
binoculars.
you imagine Yuki Kawamura throwing out the first pitch at a Redbirds game that is featuring Roki Sasaki? That'd be amazing.
That would be great.
Speak it into existence. All right. DeAngelo Williams is going to join us when we come back. We never know what we'll talk with him about. We'll find out. Come.
Grizz Nation, it's time to send Ja, Sharon, and Dez to the 2025 All-Star Game.
Oh! What did we just see, partner?
Take three! Take three!
this, man. Bane heating it up. Blocked by Jaron.
Most versatile power forward in the game today.
Head to NBA.com/vote, the NBA app, or simply use the QR code on the screen to send your Grizzlies to the All-Star game today.
Our fans have a huge impact on our ability to play to the level that we're striving for.
Drop off, Morant. Oh! Well, you wanted home crowd involvement.
I love those moments where you see our guys engaging in the fans, and the fans just get pumped up.
They are standing in FedEx Forum.
I would hate to be on the other side with the opposition when FedEx Forum's rolling. That's such an unbelievable relationship that our group has with our fans.
On January 20th, join the Memphis Grizzlies as we honor the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This year, we honor those who have carried out his vision with the 20th Annual National Civil Rights Museum Sports Legacy Award. The 23rd Annual Martin Luther King Jr. Celebration Game versus the Minnesota Timberwolves is brought to you by Ford and your Mid-South Ford dealers.
It's your turn to drive into luxury at Southland Casino Hotel. Join us on Saturdays to win your share of up to $1 million in free play and prizes. And don't miss the chance to take home luxury itself during the grand finale drawings. Drive off in a 2025 Land Rover on February 1st or a 2025 Range Rover on March 1st. 2 vehicles, 2 finales, 1 million ways to enjoy luxury only at Southland Casino Hotel. Must be 21 or up. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing compares to catching your Grizzlies IRL. And that all starts with buying tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Ticketmaster gets you to the game so you can catch every highlight. Put that jersey collection to use for the next game and get Grizzlies tickets at Ticketmaster. Whether they're here at FedEx Forum or on the road, Ticketmaster's got your back when it comes to scoring tickets. And there's no better brag than saying you saw it live.
Derrick Rose was honored in Chicago this weekend.
That was cool.
Former Memphis Tiger. One of the things I've noticed about him, he's immensely respected by his peers.
Yes.
People love him. People love Derrick Rose. I don't know exactly how to pinpoint it, but he matters to people. The impact that guy made in his hometown, on that franchise, and just on basketball in general, he deserves. There ain't an honor you could give him that I would argue with.
The Gary Parrish Show, live on weekdays at 10 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
I can't wait to see what your number one. If that's your number 2.
Number 1 for me.
Come on, man.
I listen to the bells of Luther Vandross. I love Luther Vandross's Christmas album.
I gotta go back and listen to that one, man. I'm sure I've heard it.
To the bells and they made me remember. Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Welcome back. It's Wednesday. That means it's time to catch up with DeAngelo Williams. DeAngelo, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little bit upset because we're doing this like bike thing, and it's a computer game, and people that usually suck on the bike, that you kick their ass on the bike on the road, are really killing me right now. They're killing me on the computer, and I think they're weight doping. So it goes by your weight. And so if I say I'm 220 pounds, if I want to go faster, I can say I'm 195 today.
Oh.
And
so by computer, you mean, are you on a stationary bike inside?
I'm on a stationary bike, and it's translating over to a video game. So yeah, and I'm talking about, I'm just getting my head beat in, and they're talking crap, and like I'm dealing with that now. And I'm just like, you know what? You just wait. When they warm up and it's hot enough for us to go out there, because there's a guy that we drop on bike rides routinely that's up in the front right now. And I'm just like, bro, when you walk, you look like a wounded pigeon. But now all of a sudden, you like Billy Badass on the bike. Oh yeah, I'm heated. I'm a little hot. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little hot because I'm talking mad trash.
Okay, so I'm so curious. How did you get into biking? Like, when did you first start biking?
I started biking maybe 7-8 years ago.
Okay, so after your playing career?
After my playing career, not really like cycling, but I really been taking it serious like the last 5 years. And the reason why is because I always thought I was going to be that retired football player that's always in the Y hooping. Like you come in like, hey, I got next, and I'm always on the court. But my knees was like, hey, player, you do realize you played way too long in the league for you to be jumping and running up and down this court like this. So I needed something that was body friendly, and cycling was body friendly. I've had a chance to ride with like Lance Armstrong and George. Yeah, they all ride up here. Like George, Cavendish, like all of them.
Armstrong up to?
I don't.
And cycling with DeAngelo Williams.
Why would DeAngelo know that? They just ride bikes.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like we don't
I haven't
like.
thought about. Lance Armstrong was one of the like biggest names in the world. We all wore those yellow bracelets, and then everything transpired the way that it did. And then he just became poof. Like we don't talk about Lance Armstrong anymore. That's all. I was just curious. I hadn't heard that name. I'm not asking to share his business.
You know, that's curious that you say that, because I've always wondered why people that have made a lot of money in professional sports go back into it and commentating and stuff like that. And I think they do it because they don't want people to forget about them. Because once you leave the scene, like you're gone. I don't care what you do unless you're like a Tony Romo, because I've said for the life of me, like Tony Romo was not a Hall of Fame player, at all. But because his commentary skills are good, he's going to make the Hall.
Interesting.
Because he stays relevant. He's really good at commentating, and nobody will remember his play. When his name come up, they're going to be like, oh, man, he's a really good commentator. He really knows the game. They'll go back, they'll look at his number, not the videos that we watch when we seen him like, all the picks that he threw, the none. Like, nobody remembers that. They just...
Tony Romo was the one who messed up that field goal in the playoffs.
Yes.
My favorite playoff memory.
Man, they were trying to blame Jessica Simpson for everything.
Right. So it gives them the ability to not only stay relevant, but keep their names as household names. You know, nobody would know Joe Buck. Like if Joe Buck wasn't a commentator, like nobody would know him.
It also helps with a future generation to know, like maybe people who watched in real time, but then there's the next generation who is watching the NFL and only knows these people as commentators. Even like, think about a young person who never watched Troy Aikman, but they've had Troy Aikman speaking to them on a television the entirety of their football viewing career.
Yeah, I'll give you the greatest.
But like Troy Aikman was good.
No, I know, but my point is, people, you can't help what generation you're born in, so you can't help who you saw playing on Sundays. But then if you see someone in a commentator standpoint, and yeah, if you went back and watched highlights of Troy Aikman, you'd be like, holy crap, this guy was amazing. Different category than Tony Romo, but DeAngelo's not in
not sure. Amazing is strong. He's
great.
Good. He's good.
Yeah,
he's a Hall of Famer.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He's better than Tony Romo.
But significantly better than Romo.
Significantly better than Tony Romo.
Your point is valid.
Thank
your
you.
point is valid. But Romo won't make it as a player. He'll make it as
a commentator.
As a media.
I don't know. It's hard to say that he won't make it as a player, because this is the greatest example of all time. I've never seen Babe Ruth swing a bat. I've never seen him play in a full game or nothing. But when you talk about one of the greatest baseball players to ever live, his name come up. And nobody's ever seen him. Like you talk about Aaron Judge. Like I remember watching Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa go for the home run title. And I was like, oh, these got to be the two greatest baseball players to ever live. You know, and now with the steroids allegation and the drugs and stuff like that, we're like, well, were they? Like if you take away, and then you go back to the old notion, but everybody was doing it. They was just better at doing it than everybody else. And then you're like, oh, okay, well, they were good.
And I was going to say, like, you throw, to circle back to the Lance Armstrong of it all, no one knew any other cyclers' names. So when Lance Armstrong gets caught doping, then the collective consciousness was just like, okay, well, I don't need to think about cycling anymore, because this was this one person whose story everyone became so attached to here in the U.S., and then it was done and over. And now there aren't really cycling broadcast rehabilitation stints for someone like a Lance Armstrong, you know? Like, we're not all sitting down watching where it's like, oh, now he's a commentator for this sport and having a different, like a renaissance of sorts. There's not those avenues in different spaces. With football, you have it quite often, or basketball too.
Can we play serious GM here, like a owner of a team, because my team is currently going through it. My current team is going through it right now, and I wanted you to tell me 49ers. So right now we have a problem because we have two options. We could pay Brock Purdy and have subpar players around him, or we could let Brock Purdy walk and pay a regular quarterback and then build around him. So my question is as a GM or owner, do you pay a top quarterback and get okay players around him, or do you go out and put pieces around just a normal, regular quarterback? I'll give you a case in point. The Vikings and Sam Darnold. I have no idea how the hell Sam Darnold pulled off a 15-2 season because he had never seen more than 6 or 7 wins in his whole entire career. You put pieces around that guy, and all of a sudden he looks like Troy Aikman and all the other quarterbacks. So I'm just curious to see. Yeah, I said that because, like, I honestly believe, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, the greatest player in football history is Barry Sanders, because he was the only Hall of Famer on that team. You look at other teams like Troy Aikman's team, there was like 11 or 12. You look at the 49ers, there was like 11 or 12. But you look at that Barry Sanders team, it was just him. He was the only Hall of Famer. No other old linemen, no tight ends, no wide receivers. Everybody in the world wanted to beat the shit out of that quarterback that he had. I apologize, but do anybody even know the quarterback that handed the ball off to him? Just curious.
Charlie Batch did for a little bit, and then why do I feel like the first name was Scott for the quarterback before him? I'd have to look it up.
His last name was Herman. I'm gonna give you that.
I feel like it was Scott Herman then. My dad was a big time Lions fan, right? So,
but you get my point though.
I heard the complaints about them wasting Barry Sanders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So so as a GM, like, what direction do you go in? Do you pay a quarterback and get okay players, or do you pay the supporting cast and get an okay quarterback? Because you can't get them both.
And the case with Brock Purdy is, like, he's good enough to get a larger contract, but he's not good enough to elevate a weaker team without a substantial supporting cast around him. So that is the conundrum that the 49ers are in. And unless you can get him on a super team-friendly deal, it feels all but inevitable that you're probably going to see Brock Purdy get a contract that everybody on the internet will deem too high for Brock Purdy, but it is the market value for having a good enough quarterback in the NFL, because we get in such a scarcity mindset with quarterbacks in the NFL, right? I mean, from your perspective, isn't that how it feels?
Yeah, 100%.
Like there's 32 NFL teams, but there are not 32 starting caliber quarterbacks where you're thinking, wow, they could go out and win you a playoff game.
Yes, there's.
Why not say, okay, there aren't 32 quarterbacks who can go out there and win you a playoff game. Let's find another way to win a playoff game, right? Scott Mitchell DeAngelo is the name of the quarterback before Charlie Batch. My dad is in the chat, livid. Thank you for bringing that up.
And Rodney Pete.
Was Rodney Pete there with
That's what your dad says.
That had to be in the 80s. No, it couldn't have been the 80s.
And we're literally talking about quarterbacks that handed the ball off to Barry Sanders.
After Mitchell? When was Rodney Pete there?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
But so if how many quarterbacks?
92?
Yeah, so it was before Mitchell.
Yeah.
So it was Rodney Pete, Mitchell, then Batch. How many quarterbacks would you guys say, just real quick answers, are good enough to win you one playoff game? To carry you in one playoff game?
I can name 3.
Name
Mahomes.
I'm gonna give you Mahomes. I'm gonna give you Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson should have been first.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I just need to know how many of them.
And I hate to even say this, but I'm gonna say Joe Burrow, not Josh Allen, because Josh Allen has a nice supporting cast on defense, but I'm gonna go Joe Burrow.
All right, Jessica. Jessica, who you're throwing Josh Allen in there?
Josh Allen versus the world.
And anybody else?
You're saying win one playoff
just win
game.
you one playoff game. How many quarterbacks do you say, all right, put the game on his shoulder one time? We trust him to get you one win in the playoffs.
I mean, I just watched Jaden Daniels do it.
Jaden Daniels,
and that feels
all right, that's
absurd to put
fine.
him within that
Jaden
category,
Daniels is
but we saw
5.
it last week.
You gonna throw C.J. Stroud in there? He's done it twice.
Oh, sure.
C.J. Stroud is 6. but like we're not really confident on 3 of them. So if you don't have one of these, we don't make those.
Right.
So you got to be able, as a general manager in the NFL, to find some other way to win football games, win meaningful football games, than letting it all rest on the shoulders of your quarterback. Because guess what?
Yeah, but how
your
many,
quarterback's not good
do
enough.
this exercise the opposite way. How many quarterbacks in the NFL right now, ball in their hands, your immediate reaction is, ooh, I think they're going to lose me this football game.
Oh, I can name a whole bunch of them.
I know.
All of them other than the 6 that you just named, right?
Yes.
And probably 2 of them that you just named. It's great to see a rookie go out there and do some things, but like he's still a rookie, and I'm not sure what's up with Stroud, but give it all time. My larger point is, and this is my issue, I get into it all the time. Hope my man is in the chat today. We get into it all the time this time of the year. The overvaluation of that position is what ends up driving teams insane. It ends up leading them down a path they don't need to go down, a path of mediocrity to absolute bad football being played. If you can get one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the NFL on any given year, absolutely go get them, absolutely go pay them. But if you can't, don't be paying the 18th best quarterback in the NFL top quarterback money when you can use that money to upgrade positions around said quarterback and upgrade depth on your team. Because that's what it becomes towards the end of the season. That's what it becomes towards the end of the season is how much depth do we have? Bodies aren't meant to hit this many times, this hard, this fast, in an 18, 19-week period. Hey, if you got a quarterback who can carry you through those injuries, great. But if you don't, look at the Green Bay Packers. I think Jordan Love is a fine quarterback, but they were just down so many bodies in that game against the Eagles, and bodies kept dropping. They lost 3 receivers in an already depleted receiving core room. Then they lost linemen as well. And it's like, they just don't have the bodies to be able to overcome this. So if you're going to spend all of that money on a quarterback, who's fine, understand that you don't have the depth behind your left tackle. You don't have the depth behind your defensive end. Right. You don't have the depth behind your safeties, right? And so if one of them goes down injured, that quarterback's not going to be able to make up for that lack of depth. You're paying those guys to be able to make up for the lack of depth that you have on your team. And so if they can't do that, you should not be paying them. Brock Purdy should not be paid like he's a top quarterback. And neither should any of these other dudes out here getting paid like their top quarterback. The way Kirk Cousins, now you got me on the soapbox. The way Kirk Cousins has robbed 3 different franchises ought to be enough grounds to charge him with a crime. Like that is, and we're still going to keep doing it. Because general managers refuse to find a way outside of, hey, let's get this quarterback who we think might be great one time, even though we've never seen him be great, right? We've never seen this quarterback do anything of substance. Let's pay him because he might be able to do it one time and then we'll be good to go. No, find a different way to win. So with your 49ers, DeAngelo, a 49ers team who has, 4 of the top 100 picks? Right? Like, that's enough picks for you to do some interesting things in the draft. You say, hey, we'll get all of these rookies in. We trust our scouting process. We trust our scouting team. We're going to get all of these rookies in. We're going to have them in on rookie deals that's going to be franchise-friendly. We'll go out there and be selective in the veterans that we come in and bring in as well. And if we got to let the homie go, F it. We got to let the homie go. But we're not going to pay him top 5, top 10 quarterback money because Brock Purdy is not a top 5, top 10 quarterback. We're not going to do that. So you got to, I would say, let him walk, offer him, make him an offer, say, hey, we'll give you something in the range of 25 to 30 million, right? We can make that work. But if he's like, no, give me the 60, give me the 63, I need to be the next highest paid quarterback in NFL history. No, you got to let that go, man, and find a different way to build your team.
So I'm going to tell you something, man. And for a long time, I've always said, man, you have a receiver go down, an O-lineman. There's 2 teams in the league that they can lose every O-lineman, and they can bring new O-linemen in. They can bring new wide receivers in and not have a problem. And that is the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens. I'm a firm believer that I don't give a damn who get hurt in that game. As long as they got Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, and as long as they got Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in Philly, they can make it work. This was the first time that I've ever seen where the Pittsburgh Steelers, when they played the Baltimore Ravens, they was like, hey, We're going to all crash down on Derrick Henry, and we'll let the cornerbacks deal with Lamar Jackson. We're going to go big on big because you got to pick your poison. Who you want to stop? Do you want to stop Lamar or do you want to stop Derrick Henry? But here's the problem. Each one of them are going to require a couple of people tackling them. So how do you – it doesn't matter how good you are. If you get in people's way with those guys – they're going to make something happen. Same thing with Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia. Like, they have guys go down all the time. Watching those games, I'm just like, dude, you essentially just have to make them throw the ball. Like, okay, I'm going to put everybody in the box and see what are your passing skills like? Because we know you can run the ball. With the running back, we know you can run the ball with your quarterback. So whatever those guys are making, I don't think they're making enough because they get hit just as much as the running backs. They get hit just as much as the quarterbacks. They earn their pay every game. Without those four guys on those two teams, there's a struggle because there's a difference when those guys come out. And that's why I say the quarterback spot for those two teams have been revolutionized because they're doing what Cam did when Cam was in Carolina, but they're doing it at a high level every game. Derrick Henry going to Baltimore, cheating. Thought it was cheating. I was like, oh, this is crazy. Y'all just took a 2,000-yard rusher and put him with a 2,000-yard quarterback. Saquon Barkley when he went to Philly, I was like, oh, they banned this in the NBA, but they just let it happen in the NFL, and you're seeing them reaping the benefits of it.
Yeah. And that's where even a team like the Packers and Jordan Love regresses this year, but having Josh Jacobs. Like, Jordan Love is a versatile quarterback. Having Josh Jacobs took a lot of those touchdowns for the Packers this year, and they become a playoff team. They're good enough to get to the playoffs, and I know they lose last week. The thing that makes Lamar Jackson so different is he has elevated his pass game to a point where you have to respect him as a passer. Jalen Hurts at this point in his career does not garner that same level of respect that Lamar Jackson does. Like, I do not feel threatened if Jalen Hurts is trying to push the ball downfield late in a game to come back. Lamar Jackson, completely opposite story at this point.
Nobody said Hurts in their list of quarterbacks
for that reason.
In the playoffs to win you a playoff game.
You sure?
You got to understand, he has Saquon Barkley though. He has Saquon Barkley, so they're a duo.
Didn't he win playoff games without Saquon?
And he also has one of the best receivers in the league in AJ Brown, even.
The avid reader, AJ Brown.
Hey, DeAngelo, have you ever read a book in the middle of a game? Or did you ever read a book?
No, I did see that. I don't think anybody's ever read a book. I'm gonna give you a story about this book reading. Our kicker. I absolutely, every kicker that I've ever played with, field goal kickers, not punters, but every kicker that I've ever played with, whenever we would come out of meetings and stuff, and this is why I don't like kickers, punters, like none of them. They are not people. They are not football players.
Okay, they are people, DeAngelo. Can we at least refer to them as people?
Build that damn wall. Keep all those field goal kickers out.
I don't think you understand. We're there from 6 a.m. in the morning to damn near 6 o'clock at night. Kickers are not. They come in for special teams. They do what they got to do, and they're in their lockers reading books all the time. And I would come through just as a joke, like, hey, man, what book are you reading today? Oh, I'm reading so-and-so. Well, I'm still reading my playbook. That's the only book I'm allowed to read in the locker room. So, I'm glad you're able to take in some Hemingway or whatever it is you're reading. I hope it's a good read. I'm glad you're educating yourself on society and its changes. And what really blew my mind is like the deep snapper. They would come in and they would have deep, heated conversations about a book. And I'm like, look at them over there. They just having the time of their damn life talking about the book that they read over the course of the weekend or the week or something like that. And I'm over here trying to break down these damn defenses and make sure I don't get my damn head taken off. And then when they miss a field goal, they all sad, walking and moping through if you put them damn books down and pick up a football and kick more, then you will make them damn field goals. The amount of field goals that they miss does not make up for all the book reading when I was playing. I ain't even talking about right now. Like they had I'm going to tell you something. I had our kicker encyclopedia kicked out of his locker. He had a whole bunch of books lined up. And I went to the coach and I complained. I was like, look, coach, that ain't good for morale. Every time I walk past his damn locker, I see all these damn books. I'm like, wait, his playbook is not even in the encyclopedia. Like I'm talking about, he had a lot. Like he would go, I'm gonna read this one today. Nah, you need to go kick some damn footballs. You missed 3 field goals last game. That's what you need to do.
You got D.
How many kickers did you have over the course of your career?
So now I played 11 years though.
I know.
You gotta understand.
That's what I'm curious because kickers miss enough field goals, they're out of there. So it can be
I had Chris Boswell in Pittsburgh. I had John Casey, maybe 6.
There you go. Okay. 6 and
6
years.
Do you feel the same way about long snappers also?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the long snappers are the worst, bro. Literally, their only job is long snap. I'm like, bro, you can't do nothing else. Like, if you don't grab one of these damn jerseys and go on scout team and act like a damn defensive end or something and give us a look, that's all he did was long. I'm like, how do you even sign up for that job? That's a job right there, CJ. That's like voice acting. Like, I would be a
now you're coming for voice actors.
You understand the people that do the voiceovers to like movies, foreign movies, like they have no like that's my dream job right there is to do voiceovers for foreign films because they have no. You just like dude when you watch Squid Games, you like I know they don't sound like that. You know damn well they don't sound.
Wait,
you see what I'm saying? Like that's what I want that job. Let me get that job.
Okay, there's a difference between reading for a foreign film and being a voice actor. Voice actors, you love animated shows, animated movies. Voice actors don't get near the credit that they deserve, and now they've tried to just replace them with big name actors. I'm looking at you, Chris, whose last name I can never think of, Chris Pratt. You can't just put Chris Pratt in every animated movie. There is an art to this.
I watched Garfield. Would have been a good movie if Chris Pratt wasn't the voice.
Thank you. If you had a trained voice actor.
Maybe I'm talking about what do you call the people that do the voiceovers for foreign films?
I don't know what you would consider that person.
That's them the people I'm talking about. Because I'm gonna tell you something. I watch Ippo. It's a boxing anime movie that's in Japan somewhere, and the voice acting on that, I'm just like, damn, there's no talent at all. Like, first of all, Ippo is like Asian guy, but he sound black, and I'm like, wait. They chose a black voice. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really interesting to me. Like, that's the job I want. That's what kickers are.
Chat question for you, DeAngelo, from Senior. He wants to know, is there a position in the NFL that could replace kickers? So get kickers completely up out of there. And
look, they're going through something right now where they want to replace the onside kick with, I'm just like, can we replace field goals? Like, let's just do away with the kicking position altogether. Like, I'm okay with that because, I mean, I know kickers out there, like, they probably cringing. They probably going to want to cancel me. But look, y'all already been canceled. Y'all done missed enough damn field goals in the playoffs for people to be sick of y'all ass anyway. Every one of y'all has either cost us money on a parlay or something like that because y'all don't want to either kick. I can go on this rant all day. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so was there ever a kicker? I won't ask you to slander specific people. Did you get along with any kicker in your career? Like, did you ever consider a kicker a friend?
No. Because I dislike the position that much. And right under that was long snappers. Like, if you a long snapper, don't try to start a conversation with me. Don't try to start a conversation with me. If that's your only job, if you only long snap, don't come talk to me, man. If you can't play linebacker, if you can't play scout team, something else, don't come talk to me. There's no conversation that we both should be involved in because you a long snapper.
DeAngelo, we'll catch up with you next week.
Yeah.
Bye. That was DeAngelo Williams, who doesn't think kickers are people, doesn't think long snappers are people, and doesn't think voice actors are people.
Looking back
How can you say that after one of my favorite, like, personal stories coming out of Wild Card Weekend was Zane Gonzalez, the Commanders kicker who had the game-winning kick, and it came out that he deals with OCD, and one of his tics is like touching his hair over and over again because it was caught on camera, and how he has still managed to carve out his path as an NFL kicker, and he just had a game-winning kick in a playoff game.
Only matters because he made the kick.
So
if he had to miss that kick, we'd be a lot of people saying mean things about OCD right now.
He was 5 of 7 this season.
I don't care.
go out there and make the kick. And if you make it, fine. If you miss it, we got a problem.
I'm here to say kickers matter too.
I like DeAngelo's thought. Go for 2. Get rid of field goals. Let's go.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. It's story time. I knew the people would vote for this one. The way you worded it, there was no way that parents mad about sister's black boyfriend would not win story time of the day.
Though. Like I'll send the stories and let you word them next time. Those are the stories. I couldn't figure out.
Story time is the one thing I don't have to worry about. I show up. I know you have found some. I know you will put it in the chat, and that is a nice thing to take off my plate on a Wednesday. So we'll do story time. Plus, we'll do some WTF stories. If you're wondering where everyone is going from TikTok, they're calling us TikTok refugees. And we have found a new home on a new app that is made in China. It became the #1 downloaded app yesterday. I'll tell you all about it when we come back.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans, one exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals takes it straight to you during the Grizzlies 2024-2025 season. Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
There's no substitute for experience, the knowledge gained from having been there before, and the passion to share what you know to make everyone around you better. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Thanks for showing up, Memphis. Nothing beats catching your Grizzlies IRL, and nobody knows that better than you. So next time you want to hit up a game, Ticketmaster's got your back with tickets to every upcoming matchup. Whether you're catching the Grizzlies at home or on the road, you'll find tickets at Ticketmaster, the official ticket marketplace of the Memphis Grizzlies and the NBA. Keep putting that jersey collection to use and get Grizzlies tickets today. There's no better brag than saying you saw it live. See you courtside again soon, Memphis.
ESPN put out a list. Top 30 best pro wrestlers under 30 in the world today. Number 1, Dirty Dom. Number 2, MJF.
I think Dom is deserving to be number 1. I think he is probably, like I said, one of the greatest heels in the last 10, 15 years. Like you said, he can't talk on the microphone.
The fans love it because they feel like they're a part of the show.
And that's the best.
Without their booze, he's not the best heel.
Tune in to Grind City Wrestling weekly on the Grind City Media app and on the Grind City Media YouTube channel.
Grizz Nation gets set for tip-off 1 hour before every Grizzlies home game with the warm-up show. Get the latest news, notes, and analysis live from courtside at FedEx Forum.
This team is doing everything that Taylor Jenkins and his coaching staff envisioned it could do.
Join me, Lang Whitaker, along with Michael Wallace, Jessica Benson, and other personalities from Grind City Media, Memphis, and around the NBA. 1 hour before every home game, live at Grind City Media on X, YouTube, and the official Grind City Media mobile app.
This is another JBS production.
Twinkle, twinkle, rockabye, it's story time, let's let it fly. The JB Show with CJ here to bring you tales that bring you cheer or fear or tears, whatever's here. Now hush you babies, listen up, it's story time, let's get turned up. I would like to remind everybody that I hear these stories for the first time just as you all do.
They're good stories. I don't know what you want from me.
Am I the a-hole for not visiting my Vietnamese sister because she had a baby with a black man? That sentence, me reading that sentence felt like a hate crime. Okay? I just want to put that out there. My sister and I have always had a strong bond. In Vietnam, sisters are often very close to each other. We grow up even in the same bed, which I know is different from other countries like the USA. But now everything is such a mess, and I feel so stuck in the middle of it. She's always been bold, especially compared to our parents and the traditional behavior expected of women here in Vietnam. She is the kind of bold that makes my parents angry, but also makes me admire her. She went to university in Ho Chi Minh and loved the freedom there. She started dressing more modern, speaking more confidently, and doing what she wanted. I always thought she was so brave and looked up to her for being her own person. Then, she met a man.
What type of man did she meet?
He's black.
Oh!
And from America. Here,
Ooh.
teaching English.
Double whammy.
She kept their relationship a secret for a long time, but when she finally told me about him, I could tell she was in love. But I also knew what this would mean for our family. In Vietnam, people can be ... closed-minded.
Oh, stop.
Code
Wait.
for racist.
Only in Vietnam, that's
Everywhere.
a problem. Only
It's
in
an
Vietnam.
international
No, it's
word
only in
like no
Vietnam.
other. It's not just about race, it's about what people will say, what the neighbors will think, what extended family will gossip about at every gathering. My parents are very traditional, and I knew this would break our family apart. When my sister got pregnant, she kept it hidden as long as she could, but eventually she had to come forward and everything just exploded. My parents were furious, and they outcast her straight away. They yelled about how she was ruining the family's name and how people could judge us forever. My mom cried for days, saying things like, "How could she do this to us?" My dad was cold. He didn't yell as much, but the way he stopped speaking to her hurt even more. He completely withdrew. My sister didn't back down though. She said she was keeping the baby. I'm keeping the baby. That she loved her boyfriend and didn't care what anyone thought. My parents told her if she wanted to ruin her life, she couldn't do it under their roof. And if she left, they would withdraw all financial support. So she left. It has been a year now. She had her baby boy. I've seen pictures. Hold on.
Seen pictures.
I know. I have there's like a share file
Got you.
thing on. Oh, okay, I fixed it.
All right.
Hold on. It's been a year now. She had her baby boy. I've seen pictures and he's beautiful. My sister happy, or at least she says she is, but I can tell she misses us. And I know financially she is struggling without my parents' support. She doesn't say it outright, but I hear it in her voice when we talk. She still calls me sometimes, even though I have to sneak around to answer because my parents don't want me talking to her. I feel stuck. I love my sister. I miss her so much. I also feel guilty. I didn't stand up for her when everything went down. I just stayed quiet while she was kicked out. And now I don't know how to fix things. I try to bring her up to my mom, but she shuts me down every time. She made her choice, she says. My dad won't even mention her name. I've been saving my allowance to take a bus to Saigon to visit her. My dad overheard me on the phone to her planning to come and see her, her boyfriend, and my baby nephew. My dad confronted me and told me if I go see her, I won't be welcome back home. I depend on my parents for support, and without them, I wouldn't know where to go. But how can I turn my back on my sister also? It isn't right of me to have to pick a side like this, and I feel like a coward for still taking support from my parents while my sister struggles alone. I just wish people could see through color and didn't care what everyone else thinks so much. It's just a sad story.
Not the a-hole though, right?
No, she's not the
Not-
a-hole.
not
She's,
the a-hole.
she is trying her best. The only a-holes in the story are the parents and the family and people who are racist and don't support mixed race relationships.
Sounds to me like you need to cut them people off. 1, 2.
Always
also,
easier said than done, but yes.
It's not that hard. But it sounds
Well, she's
like
also
she's
receiving like financial support.
sounds
from
like
her
she's a
parents,
kid.
too. Exactly. I was
like
gonna
that's
say
what it
she
sounds
sounds
like.
young.
So you got to just survive in that house
And
for
then
as long
when
as you
you are
can.
grown-
But immediately you got to just get away and be like, yo, I'm out. And if your sister's still calling you and you're still taking her calls, I'm sure that your sister who grew up in that house completely understands what it is that is going on in that house. So my advice would be, hey, if you're a young person, like a kid, ride this wave on out with your parents. Honestly, don't make them mad, because like we've seen how they do when they get mad.
Yeah.
They get up out of there as soon as you can and know that once you leave, you can't come back. You got to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and take care of yourself.
And you have family with your sister and your
you
new
guys-
nephew.
You guys can go and kick it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make another little one of mine.
That's sad.
It'd be that way.
It does be that way
For the record,
sometimes.
all of those stories were just like this.
I know. I came in and CJ was like, "Oh, these are all sad family
Yeah,
tales."
you get like all of them were like, how do I cut off? Am I the a-hole? And for the most part, no. How do I cut off this person for good?
Yeah.
Right? And at times, man, you got to let your family members know, like, hey, here's the line. You can cross it, and if you do, like, I'm out. We don't have to do this, right? You grown, I'm grown. I can take care of myself. You can take care of yourself.
we don't have to have communication with each other.
Yeah.
So respect it or don't. I'm fine with it. You draw that line in the sand and then, like, I don't want to say dare somebody to cross it, but dare somebody to cross it, pray they don't cross it, whatever you want. And if they cross it, handle it from there. But yeah, you're absolutely got to get away.
Certainly not the a-hole.
Not the a-hole. Get away from it. Get away.
All right, let's do a couple WTF stories on our way into the rest of this Wednesday. Let's start with the most downloaded free app in the U.S. yesterday on the Apple Store, which is an app called, excuse me if I butcher the pronunciation, Xiaohongxiao, which translates to RedNote. It hit #1 on the U.S. App Store following the news of the potential TikTok ban that could come into effect on January 19th. I have not joined RedNote, but many TikTok refugees, as they are being called, have. They have shared their experiences on RedNote. They are enjoying RedNote. The big thing is that RedNote is also owned by China, similarly to TikTok. And so what people who are joining and downloading that app are saying is, I do not care if China has my data. That is not of importance to me. So I will just find another app that I can post videos and have fun on. One of the cute things that has popped out of this is, I guess it's not cute, it's more of an indictment on how disconnected we are as an international community, but people being like, wow, Chinese people are just like us. They're consuming sports, they're watching movies and TV shows and listening to music and doing cooking videos and makeup tutorials. Like, there's so much in common here. And that's been kind of fun to see, like, that communal experience happen. I have not downloaded it because I simply cannot have another social media app on my cell phone. I can't. I don't want it. I don't want to start another one. I'm on Threads. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Twitter. It has nothing to do with me not caring. All those places have my data. I am well aware of that. Like, what Meta is doing right now is right up there with anything that TikTok has and could possibly do. I just can't have another app. My issue with TikTok and social media in general is what it has done to the collective attention spans of people. And if there was a way to solve that, I think it would be spectacular. I hope TikTok stays around, personally. But we won't know until that ban. And in the meantime, you can hop on RedNote if you want.
People are trying to buy it. So I would expect that if TikTok wants to be sold, they'll sell and get a bunch of billions from a bunch of billionaires, and it'll stay around. The thing that amused me about the RedNote is, because that's the joke, like,
yes,
everybody saying farewell to the Chinese spies who follow them on the tickety-tockety and look at them through the camera, so everybody's waving goodbye.
Thank you, Chinese spy.
The Chinese people on RedNote are like, welcome. I'm so glad I get to spy on you again. Like, it's some grade A humor going on over there.
Somebody, one of my friends yesterday was like, the spies on Instagram Reels feel a little more chuggy and maybe a little more fascist. And it's like, the spies are everywhere. Like, this data is being collected. Yeah. We open our phones with our faces. You don't, do you? But a lot of us open our phones with I pay bills with my face. I'm well aware.
Open your phone with your
ship
face.
Has sailed.
You hop on. I tried my best to keep my face out of everything. Open your phone with your face. You do the filters with your face. Like, they're really cool little filters, right? Like, the one that's going around is that I've seen that's like, oh, that might make me. But it is, who are your Disney parents? So you put your face on there, and then 2 Disney characters pop up, and those are your Disney parents. That's I want to do that, but no, I'm not finna let you, like, use my face to make whatever new AI robot thing you're trying to come up with. No. But yeah, it's all, to me, all social media is bad. Would love to get rid of it all. Yeah. I'm sure we can find something for it.
But I'm also not dumb, and I recognize how social media is a part of this job that we do every single day. And the community that's the thing. Like, I've had a lot of in memoriam videos on TikTok, and people are genuinely sad. And I know there's a lot of people who are going to, like, stand on their soapbox and say, well, I never downloaded TikTok because I never thought that it was a good app or a good use of my time, or I didn't want my data shared, blah, 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 and now I don't have to miss it. Well, for people who did find community on it and people who found success on it, like, some people's jobs took off thanks to TikTok. Some people make their living based on TikTok. People have been able to pay medical bills because of TikTok, and that's a whole other conversation, that you have to create content in order to pay your medical bills in this country, but it is a reality.
Going to be able to pay
for
off fire damages,
damages and losses in natural disasters, and from Book Talk, which became so big in the reading community and sharing good books and promoting libraries and bookstores. I've talked a lot about finding like a theater community on TikTok where that's been a very lonely, you wouldn't know it based on how I talk about musicals on this show, but like that was always a really private love and hobby of mine. And now because of TikTok, I felt more connected to like-minded people than ever before in my entire life, and like people who speak the same language when it comes to Broadway musicals. Sports is on TikTok, community. There's a lot of good that's gonna go away. I learned something yesterday, because I do try to remember things I learned on TikTok, especially now as it's about to go away. Do you have a grill, CJ?
A grill?
A grill.
Like a cook grill,
Yeah,
or like the Nelly grill?
Like a
cook grill. Yeah, I have a grill.
How do you clean your grill?
I get the brush.
You should not.
And I scrub it.
You
and
should
then
use an onion.
Okay.
Because those brushes have little pieces of metal that sometimes dislodge from the brush, and then they're like hanging on your grill and you don't even notice them. And then the next time you cook food, they can end up in your meat, like a hamburger, for example, or a piece of chicken or whatnot, and then they're consumed. And an ER doctor said one of the things that is like one of the most shocking things you see regularly in an emergency room is people who come in and they can't figure out what's wrong with them. For example, this boy was having excruciating ear pain that wouldn't go away. Finally did an MRI. There was a piece of hamburger meat with that bristle lodged inside of it, and an abscess had started to grow around it. And so then they removed it and he was fine. And I learned that on TikTok yesterday. Beware of the metal bristles.
Ah.
Yeah, you're welcome. Might have just saved your life.
I
Thanks
doubt
to
it,
TikTok.
but it's cool.
Yeah, but maybe.
Whatever.
You never know.
You don't. Listen, TikTok, TikTok leaves, something else will pop up. I hate it for people who are going to lose money, because that's the name of the game, making money. Yeah, it's probably, I think it'll be more of a net positive than a net negative. We've talked about this.
I think it's a net negative if every other social media forum is connected to a singular government.
I think it is a net negative regardless of where they are connected, and getting rid of one is doing a bit more good for the collective as a whole. The way misinformation spreads on all of these things is a problem. The way hate spreads on all of these things is a problem. You're great. You know, most people on there, I'm gonna say most people, I don't know. There's a large number of people
I don't know what the number breakdown is.
I'll say just a large number of people who are on there finding really cool communities to be a part of. Broadway community, it's superhero community, a sports community, music community, whatever, movie community, TV shows. Like whatever it is, you found a cool little community and your algorithm is hitting you with that community all the time. If you hop on there and try and find some hate though, it'll feed you that hate all of the time. And we've seen the hate spread. And that's a real problem. Not exclusively, solely to TikTok. I want to be clear about that. It's not only a problem on TikTok. It is a problem with all of the social media platforms. And with Facebook deciding to go away from fact checking, I think we brought that up last week, that's going to be a problem. With the way that hate has become almost like a mantra on TikTok, a free speech, if you will, on Twitter, excuse me, since Elon came through, right? Like that's a problem. Facebook is where it all sort of popped off in 2016. When it was like, oh, this is how we can spread misinformation. If we really want to spread misinformation, we don't have to fly overhead and drop pamphlets onto these communities. We can just create a user and have them drop some goofy ass memes that are at best half-truths and in all actuality, all reality, flat out lies, right? Like lying on social media has become such a problem. It's such a big problem. Think about this wildfire situation going on in LA. Again, thoughts and prayers to the people of LA as they deal with that. But the governor has to come up with a website to try and slow down the spread of misinformation on social media sites. I saw, and hell, I saw this. I didn't do any more research, so this could be made up. But what I saw was somebody say, Oregon can't even send fire trucks to California because of California's ridiculous car emission laws. And that's crazy. They had 60 fire trucks ready to go. They're just going to let people in LA burn up. To which Oregon had to reply, yo, everything you're saying is wrong. We didn't send 60. We sent 75. Stop spreading misinformation like this, right? Like
and California has denied false claims that Oregon fire trucks were turned around.
And that's how crazy it is for these things to spread. So TikTok should not be the only one, is what I'm saying.
Right.
But it feels like it might be the only one.
And I understand what my algorithm is going to show me video-wise and also like comment-wise. But what is, even if you go on for a exercise in what is being driven to the top of platforms, if you go to Pete Hegseth confirmation hearing posts on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, it will be primarily, specifically Elizabeth Warren's interaction. I forget what you call it when they go back and forth, but Elizabeth Warren like grilling Pete Hegseth yesterday about his past of saying that women should not serve in the military. On Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, it is all negative Elizabeth Warren, pro Pete Hegseth. On TikTok, it is more of a it is more, how the hell is this guy about to be confirmed into this position? I'm just saying there should be at least some semblance of a balance, and without TikTok, you're removing one piece of that puzzle, and it's almost all going the other direction. But that's okay. I have a really good news story to read you, because we're never going to come to the middle ground.
Go ahead.
I have the best news story of the week to read you.
What is it?
It's from the Associated Press. So it's a real story, CJ.
The AP does good work, and I put that on Teresa.
Me too.
Let's go.
I don't think Teresa wrote this story. I don't want to put it on her.
Well, I mean, I'm pitting the quality of the work that the AP does, not
Teresa
this story.
represents the AP.
Yes, she represents it wonderfully.
Lazio, which is an Italian soccer club, in case you didn't know.
All right.
Has fired the man who handled the Italian soccer club's eagle mascot after he posted photos and videos online of his prosthetic penis.
His what now?
His prosthetic penis, or as said in this tweet, his penis implant. Falconer, because that's what we call people who handle the mascots, Juan Berenebe, shared the images of his private social media accounts after undergoing surgery for a penile implant, which he said was for non-medical reasons. Berenebe also gave an interview to controversial Italian radio show La Zanzara on Monday and elaborated on his reasons for undergoing this procedure. Berenebe added that he felt, quote, very proud and, quote, more masculine being part of Lazio. The Serie A club clearly did not feel the same as it fired the Spaniard shortly afterward. Quote, shocked to see the photographic images and video of Mr. Juan Berenebe and to read the statements that accompanied them, Lazio announces that it has stopped with immediate effect all relationship with this person given the seriousness of his behavior. The club realizes and shares the pain that the fans will feel at the loss of the Eagle in the next home game, but believes that it is not possible to be associated with a person who by his own initiative has made the continuation of the relationship unacceptable. I'm going to continue. It's a short article. The eagle, a bird that symbolizes ancient Rome, traditionally flies over Stadio Olimpico before home games. Berenebe said he had no regrets. Lazio suspended Berenebe in 2021 when he filmed performing a fascist salute at the end of a match and chanting Duce Duce, which was the name used to praise former fascist Italian leader Benito Mussolini. Quote, I admire him so much, Berenebe added.
He was a loser. He lost, right? Why do we do this with losers? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's it. That's the whole story. Come for the penile implant, stay for he loved Mussolini.
Him being Jacob is in the chat. Other Jacob's in the chat saying, yeah, they pride themselves on being fascist.
So he was, but he was too fascist for them.
Was it the fascism or was it the BBL penis?
I think the penile implant was the last straw, but then they were able to also be like, hey, this guy's even a little too much for us.
Ladies out there, I just want to know: would you mess with a dude with a BBL penis?
Could you tell?
I'm assuming you can.
I don't know.
We can tell with other BBLs.
Sometimes you can't. I've even started to struggle with like breast implants in movies and television. I obviously said I just watched both Honora and The Substance, and I was like, I don't know the answer to these. And you used to be able to tell, but now there's some like really good doctors in this world.
So ladies, if you're out there, Jessica, feel free. You're a lady if you want to answer,
right.
But BBL penis, like, is that something we're rocking with? And how crazy is it that
whatever is the choice for you?
Is it fair to fire this man for a BBL penis?
I think it's fair to fire him because he seems like an absurd human being who posts irrational.
But that's the club's thing. The club is full of fascists. The thing that got him fired isn't being a fascist, isn't being somebody who rides a Mussolini.
I see what you're saying.
It's somebody who has a BBL penis.
BBL
penis. BBL penis.
It's just anatomy, everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
BBL
we gotta get out of here.
penis.
CJ.
BBL penis.
I was trying to remember the song from the school board lady. Who cat? You kiss it.
Well, come on now.
Grizzlies Spurs.
Why are you going from BBL Venus to who's cat?
I don't know.
Shelly!
Grizzlies-Spurs tonight in San Antonio. We'll be back tomorrow. A normally timed game tonight at 7 o'clock. Pete Brevin and Rob will be on the pregame show at 6:30. Eric Hasseltine on the Memphis Grizzlies radio broadcast, along with Mike Wallace. We will see you all then. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Sometimes I try and walk you into things and you take the bait.
Yeah, that one really took me off guard.
I just really wanted you to say BBC.
Thank you so much.